Welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Profit pod. Today I'm joined by Marco.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, bro.
Good to see you.
You too. It's been a while.
You know what?
5 years. 5 years. Been a while. First of all, thank you for coming on. You're somebody who's got a super interesting journey and I'm super experienced in the space. I'm really excited. I'm going to hear this conversation.
Yeah, good to be here.
So first of all, let's start. If you could just introduce yourself, tell people, for those of you who don't know you, I'm sure all of my following probably do know who you are, but for those that don't, if you could just introduce yourself.
Yeah, so Marco Ribeiro, South African born, Portuguese national, so a bit of a weird mix.
Yeah.
I've been living in London for about 6.5 years now, so I can hear my accent's a bit in between.
You got a twang.
So yeah, South African born, I decided to make the move over here, and yeah, I'm loving it ever since. I've been trading for 7 years now.
Okay.
Love what I do.
Yep.
It hasn't been a career that, has been just smooth sailing all the way up. It's had its ups, had its downs. I think it's made me into who I am, and it's also given me the opportunity to grow as an individual, and that's just why I love trading, and I don't think I'll ever stop.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So if you can take us back, so before trading, your upbringing, up until the point where you first found out about trading, what did that kind of look like?
My family had some businesses, and ever since a kid I was with my father going to the shop, going to the market, not this type of market, but fruit and veg market. And that taught me a lot of skills and principles that I needed. And it taught me discipline. It taught me how to show up every day, no matter how tired you are. And the resale space, and it was good. It gave me that background that I needed.
Mm-hmm. And education-wise, did you go to uni or what did that kind of look?
Yes, I just finished school. And then, went to work in a family business for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came to London. So no uni, just straight out of school. And life taught me enough.
When was that? What year was that?
That was 2016 when I moved.
2016 when you moved there. Yeah. Okay, cool. And when did you find out about trading?
Trading was 2015.
Okay.
Shout out to Sandia Sherzi, if anyone knows who he is, South African icon. Literally popped up on a magazine, and he shared his journey on how he, at the time, put uni to trade. I was like, all right, let me have a look at this. Let me see, what is it? And then, I Googled, trading online. Stocks came up. I didn't have enough money for stocks at the time. But, that's where FX came into the picture. And it's been a good journey ever since. But, that's how I started, 2015.
Okay. And where did you go from there? So you started, I'm guessing, like everyone, you probably blew some accounts. So
loads.
Some good stories. Yeah.
My first account was $150. I literally had 3,000 Rand at the time. I thought, fuck it, it's worth it. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I've always been that, I wouldn't say a very risky person, but I understand if you don't have any skin in the game, you're not going to make any money.
Yep.
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a go. It's only going to be good things, obviously. And I literally blew that account, I think, in 2 days. It's a very, very quick.
That's quite good to do, but yeah.
We know now that $150 is nothing. That's the spread that I have now.
Yeah.
But, looking back at the time, I'm glad I took that leap.
Mm-hmm.
If I was just too afraid of the risk, too afraid of the downside, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
And I think without any downside in life, you're not really going to have those good opportunities.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I've taken every risk that's popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So you blew that account. What happened next? Were you learning on YouTube or?
Yeah, so
what kind of strategies were you using? Was it MA crossover at the beginning? Yeah.
So candlesticks at the time.
Yeah.
I literally went on YouTube. That's where I came across Astro at the time, which will blend in later on the story.
Yeah.
But I came across Astro and followed some of their videos online. Technical Tuesdays. If anyone knows Astro, everyone knows Technical Tuesdays. Yeah. And that's how I started.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at not necessarily what trades someone else is taking, but what they're seeing and what I shouldn't be seeing.
The analysis.
Exactly. I always used to try and give myself that little bit of an extra edge.
Mm-hmm.
I've always believed, if you're going to learn something from someone, just learn how they're doing it. Don't necessarily look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
Completely agree. So you started learning, you first found out about FX 2015.
Yeah.
When did it start to click? How many years? Because for me, it was kind of nothing for the first 3 years. And most people come into this space, they want to be a full-time trader in 3 or 6 months. But as we know, it's not like that, right? So how long did it take you from when you first started to when it really started to click?
Yes, I'd say a good 2 years. 2 years once things actually started to click. But also, getting greedy and not following my risk management parameters, I'd say another 2 years on top of that.
Yeah.
I think, an issue a lot of traders face and something that I faced along my journey was purely just getting carried away. So, you know, if anyone starting now, when anyone that wants to get into trading is, you know, have that disciplined mindset that, you know, this might take 5 years, like any other industry.
Yeah.
You know, before you get qualified, before you're a veteran, before you make good money, it's going to take you a long time. And just don't rush the process. Yeah. And that was my issue. I try to rush it too much.
Yeah. Also, it's never ending, right? So people want to be, you know, consistent or profitable, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Consistently profitable, but it's a constant battle. You know, you constantly need to be working on your edge. It's a constant, constant warfare with the market.
For sure.
Like, so there's not like one point where it's like, oh, I'm profitable now. I've made it. You know. Okay, cool. So 2 years for it to really kind of click. What were the low points in that period? You know, did you ever want to give up at any point? Or
yeah, definitely. I think the first 2 years, it was not even a question that I wanted to give up. At the time, you know, someone had told me if you can get past your first 2 years, then I would say that is the hardest. That's the foundation phase. That's the, you know, something that you have to go through as a trader.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the more turbulent part of my career came after that. You know, once I thought I made it, once I thought I had this magical strategy, which wasn't, you know, concrete, it's not bulletproof, and nothing in trading is. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in that you are only as good as your last trade. Yeah. And if you become complacent and you just let them slide, it is going to be hard for you. You are going to go through a tough time, and it's going to be turbulent. Trading is a very turbulent career. Yeah. You know, you have your highs, you have your lows, and it's something you just got to power through. Yeah. And yeah, we are today.
Absolutely. We'll get more into like the retail side of payment advice for beginners in a bit. So that journey then again, so you started 2015, 2017, it really started to click around the kind of crypto run, I'm guessing. Yeah. Maybe you participated in that. What kind of happened from there? So like 2017 onwards to, you know, taking us up to today pretty much.
Yeah, so 2017, I joined Astro. I was an Astro student. So I'll just wind that back briefly. So when I moved here, I knew Astro was in the UK. I knew they were situated in Birmingham at the time. And, you know, I literally, at the time, I even told my brother, listen, there's this course in Birmingham, it's $2,500. Fuck it, you know, I'm going to do it. So he lent me half the money at the time. So shout out to Danny, you know, probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his support, his guidance. So I went to do that course. I think it was about 6 months after that. There was an Astro meetup, Covent Garden, Birmingham members. I literally went there and I thought, you know what? I want to be a part of this. I want to have more than just trading in my bedroom for the rest of my life. Yeah. I mean, no professional footballer got to where they got to playing in their backyard. Yeah. So if you want to grow and you want to be better and you want to be among the best, you got to like leave your house and, you know, put your big boy pants on. Yeah. Go join the big guy.
That is about that, right?
That's it. So at the time they opened an office in Mayfair. They literally put something out there to the students that, listen, if anyone wants to be a part of this, you know, come along. I went for an interview. I got the role at the time to write articles for Everything FX, which was a branch under Astro at the time. And that was good. You know, that gave me an opportunity to focus on trading. It was also a sales-based role for Astro, which I wasn't too focused on. I was more on the trader. Everyone that has followed me knows that. Yeah. And I loved that part of it because I had time that I could dedicate every day tracking 5 pairs, writing about 5 pairs every day. Yeah. And that was part of the foundation. Yeah. That was part of the growth. Yeah. So I was there for about 4 years. I stepped into more of a teaching/mentor role within the brand, within the business. And it made me into who I am. You know, I've probably taught and helped tens of thousands of traders worldwide, be that through meetups in person, be that through, you know, webinars and so forth. But if it wasn't for me having that opportunity to speak to thousands of traders, I wouldn't be the trader that I am today. Yeah. And one thing I know for a fact is every trader has the same journey. Everyone just has a different perception on it. Yeah. So no matter how much money you have started now, if your focus isn't on the skill set and on the discipline of what it actually takes, you're going to have a very hard time. I've seen people that start with nothing and build themselves a good career out of trading because of how hungry they are. But then I'm also seeing people with money that just lose it all. Yeah. So same career, same path, but just a different perception on what it actually takes.
Yeah. Also, it's a skill learning how to teach, right? So having taught so many people, you know, you've learned that skill already, and we'll come into what you're doing now and speak a bit about that later. But yeah, I feel like that experience is invaluable. Also, what you're saying as well about being process driven. If people come into this just with the goal to make money, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to lose it all, right? You need to be process driven, even in the way you trade, right? Which I'm sure, again, we'll get to later. So cool. Now, today, if you want to just explain a bit about what you do, we'll go to it in a bit more depth later. But
yeah. So I currently run a mentorship in something that I've always enjoyed. You know, ever since being a part of Astros, speaking to other traders, relating to other people. I won't say it was like therapy for me, but in a way that it was. You're really getting the emotions out there. Trading is such a lonely journey that if you don't have anyone to relate to, this is going to be hard. Yeah. So at the start of this year, I started a mentorship. Got about 45 traders right now in the mentorship. And I do life calls every day. That's one of the things that I do. A bit of a passion project of mine. I started a bit of a brand, Life is Bullish. Yeah. And the reason I started this was because I went through severe highs and lows in my trading journey. But every time I hit a low, every time I thought that, maybe this isn't for me, something clicked, something happened. I didn't give up, and I hit new highs every time. Yeah. Whether that was a financial goal that I had previously made, whether that was the amount of money I was managing, whatever, people I was meeting, circles I was getting involved in, conversations I was having, every new high got taken out. And I'm a full believer on, life is bullish, and we just got to keep powering through.
100%.
I do that. I'm a part of a crypto-based hedge fund, which I'm one of the traders for, which have created a process where individuals and clients can onboard themselves into a hedge fund, traditional hedge fund, through NFTs. So I'm one of the traders there. So I've got a few things going on. Yeah. Things keep me busy, but I enjoy that. And trading is quite tedious and quite boring if you're doing it right. Yeah. And if you're managing your risk, you're only really hand picking one or two trades every now and then, once a week, once or twice a month. It's mundane, it's boring, it feels like a chore, but that's when trading is right. Yeah. If you're trading or vigorously and you're risking too much and it makes your heart race, you're risking too much and you probably should stop. Yeah. But that's what I got going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy every bit of it.
Yeah. Just touching on the, life is bullish, you spoke about some of the low points. What were some of those kind of low points where you thought, maybe...
Yeah, so one of the lowest points was 2020 bull run, right? Lowest points for me, 2020 bull run. I needed money for a family issue, and I cashed out most of my XRP, like 27 cents. Family comes first for me and always will. But I thought, it's either this or that, and fuck it, I'm going to do it anyways. I'll make the money back. Life is bullish. If this is a low, it's fine, I'll make it back. Yeah. I think if individuals come into this game and they just expect to have this, straight line up, it's not going to happen. Yeah. And I find that is why the industry and the niche has such bad numbers of people that are actually profitable, because people would just throw money into an account and blow it, not learn their lesson and say, fuck it, trading's not for me. Yeah. But if you have that discipline and that drive to power through, then honestly, there's so much potential and there's so much more we can still do in this game. Yeah. And the low points definitely made me into who I am. Yeah. So whoever's listening, if you're going through those low points, just figure out what you can do to get out of there. Yeah. But just carry on. Yeah. Got to carry on.
Well, people have all the tools available to them, right? Like in 2015, I started first finding out about it 2014. It wasn't like it is now. Like you got YouTube, there was not much, So I feel like people have all the tools available. They just need the right mindset coming into it. So cool. So you got like your free project you're working on. You've trained as well. Yeah. What does life look like now? What's your kind of like daily routine?
Yeah. So day to day, I try to wake up, normal time. I'm not going to be that person that says, they got to wake up at 4,
wake up before I fall asleep,
run a marathon, drink 20 liters of water a day. Yeah. I live a fairly normal life. I live in the countryside, which I love. I'm very quiet. And that gives me time and peace for my trading. It puts me in the right mindset and the right mind space every day. But I might do daily coaching calls every morning, every London session where I share my watch, just talk a bit about macro themes at the moment, what to expect. And I've also, I share how my journal has changed. I used to be purely technical, and now I look more at the macro side of it. and base my technicals around that.
Yeah.
So I've created an edge for myself, and I'm just trying to share that, and helping traders get funded, which is nice. It's good to actually see. And honestly, I'm just trying to be that person I wish I had when I started, because like you say, in 2015 there was nothing.
Yeah.
You think the magical trendline strategy is going to work, and it doesn't. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see, and it's good to see the progress in other people, and that is just what I find more fulfilling. Trading and making money, just focusing on your trading is fun. I've done it for 3 months, but I got bored.
Yeah.
When you get bored, start risking too much, gets a bit ugly, and you don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah.
And then look, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. We were speaking off camera about that 3 month period, and I was going to say, people think when they go full-time trading that they go out for lunch every day to live their life. I think it's boring after
it does,
right?
It does. I mean, you can't even sit outside of your laptop because of the glare on the screen. You can't see nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm fully, on the camp, and am a believer of, trade, make your money, then go live your life.
Yeah.
You want to go on holiday, trade, focus, make your money, then go on holiday, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But the whole trading time and dream, I think it is purely just this social media gimmick that leads people to get into the lifestyle that very sadly not many stick around, because they sold in this dream that they too are going to have this lavish life, and it's not going to happen the way they think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Give you loads of highs and lows, and a lot of lows that you got to go through before you actually elevate yourself.
I completely agree. That whole trade by the beach kind of thing is just nonsense. You need to be in the best decision-making state, right? Because you're only making a few high-quality decisions every day or maybe every week, depending on your style.
Yeah.
And I think people that think sipping a cocktail by the beach is going to help their edge, they're completely wrong. So talk to me a bit about your trading system now then. You mentioned, you used to be pure technicals, and now you kind of mix the macro side of things with the technicals.
Yeah.
What's your kind of thought process looking at markets? When you're doing your weekly prep, where do you kind of start?
So I look where every single central bank's positioned. And that truly gives me an edge, because if I know what the ECB are going to be doing, where they are close to their nominal rate target, where the Fed are, and especially in the condition that we're in now, I feel if you don't have that macro edge, you're purely just taking a gamble. And I see across social media now, and it's bringing names out, but people are so technically driven on the lower time frames that it is too erratic.
Yeah.
If you catch on 5 or 6 pips on a 1 minute time frame, you're not, in my opinion, that's not class trading. It's throwing a trade on, hoping it works.
Yeah.
So what I do now, every single morning, I figure out whether risk is on and whether risk is off. Where is dollar? How is dollar positioned? And throughout the whole month of May, dollar's rallied 3% off of 101 on the dollar index. I talk about that every day, because there's so much drivers, and following Powell's last statement that he said now in May, we're not planning on cutting rates at all. That reprices in market expectations for the rest of the year, whereas dollar crashed to 101 on the hopes that, and market pricing that the Fed was going to cut. That gets rechanged, from Fed Chair Powell to say, listen, we're not cutting. So that just reprices market expectations. You have dollar on the back foot. You got the ECB that's slightly dovish, so you can sell rallies in euro. Yeah. So for me, daily, figure out what the sentiment is, figure out which central bank is ahead of each other. I used to draw a heat map for myself, if anyone's interested in doing that. Write like a bit of a turtle race, who is ahead of who. And then you can obviously position yourself in terms of rates and value, what currency is strong, what currency is weak. Add those two together, because then you have the highest probability. Throughout the whole month of May, we've been selling rallies of euro dollar. I know it's not the best and the most exciting pair to trade, but if you trade it with some size, it's fallen 300 pips in May. It's not bad.
Yeah. So a good bet to trade and the spread as well is the most liquid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate of the strong to weak thing as well. I won't go into my views here, but I completely agree. Having that macro view and finding which currencies are strong. So at the minute, to give you an example, I'm bearish yen, NZD, bullish dollar, obviously, bullish pound. But I'm a big advocate of that. So once you've got that bias, what do you do next? What does the kind of weekly break?
So then pretty much that's when my technicals come in. I want to look at where something's overbought, where something's oversold, something in an area of value. Where would I like, if I'm so bullish or so bearish on this currency, where would I like to be involved? And it is purely just risk reward, and that's what technicals for me are. Where is the highest price that I can be involved in selling the S&P? I was short on the S&P in the first 2 weeks of March, we got stopped out. on this most recent rally because of the debt ceiling. And if you don't understand what's happening with the debt ceiling and you don't understand how a relief rally, the risk will come from them lifting the ceiling, these things can happen. So you've got to prepare yourself for that. So yeah, relative value is a very, very big thing for me now. And I wish I traded like this when I started. I don't know how I was so gullible to think, drawing a trend line on a chart would magically, allow me to quit my job and live this magical life, because it's just bullshit. Yeah, and saying that. Yeah. So relative value is definitely a big strong point. And then technicals are just literally risk reward.
Yeah. So you spoke about euro dollar. What other instruments or currency pairs are you traded?
Yeah, I like to trade equities quite a lot. In favor of the S&P and the Dow. The Dow has been selling off nicely recently because of risk. I like gold. I haven't traded gold this year though. So that crypto-based project that I was talking to you about is very, very high on managing risk. And I found in my own trading performance for the type of trader that I was, my performance, my P&L was very turbulent because of gold. Like I would make money in FX, but I'd lose it in gold. And this is where you need to have a very solid conversation with yourself, and you're going to say, well, you got to be right, or you got to make money.
Yeah.
And if you got to make money, you can trade the likes of euro dollar with a bit more size, and you'll make the same money that you made on gold.
Yeah.
But I would hate the fact that I'd lose some of my P&L that I've traded in FX, and I'd lose it on gold because I just wanted to take a punt.
Yeah.
And this whole year, I've scratched that punt mentality where I've always had it. I've always been a very, I wouldn't say risky person, but I favor risk. Right? I favor risk, and I don't mind taking that risk. So, leading up till this year, I've removed that whole punt mentality, and I have to look for relative value trades, because the type of trader that I'm right now and the type of trader I'm still trying to become requires me to really hammer down on what I'm doing. And yeah, that's it. So gold, the S&P, pretty much every major. So if I'm looking for relative value, I'm not going to say that I just trade euro, because if you've got a dovish Bank of England, I'm going to be selling rallies in the pound. So I'm looking literally on a little sheet, what is strong, what is weak, and that's my focus. Yeah. Like for the first half of the first quarter of the year, I was selling every single rally in the yen cross that I could find. Yeah. We had a dovish, I don't know if you know, Kazuo Wade is a new Bank of Japan governor. Everyone was expecting him to be the super hawkish person. He wasn't. Yeah. Super dovish. Every yen crossed through the roof. Pound yen 170. Yeah. What? Yeah. So I look for value. Value can be found, and I have a watch list. The way I've structured my watch list, every single morning, I'll run through the whole watch list, and I've got to look at, if I had to choose one trade, what would this one trade be that lines up with my technical bias and the narrative, and it actually makes sense? And, I speak about this every morning, but if you had to sit around a table and explain to someone why you took the trades that you took, can you explain them? Yeah. And that's really what I believe in. The latter half of May has been quiet, right? We had all the central bank meetings at the start of May, which was good. I was sold euro for 110.50 at the high, great price. But for the rest of the month, you're not doing anything. Well, that's where most people lose money. Yeah. Because you'll have that one good trade, but if you give it away, trading everything else, you're wasting time. Yeah. I completely agree with that as well. What you said about that round table. The analogy I use is, if you work at JP, you got to explain yourself. Yeah, you got to explain your trades. So it's you against you, right? It's you against less about you against the markets and more about you against yourself. So holding yourself accountable, actually having a reason why you took the trade, and understanding and telling yourself why you were able to take the trade. Yeah. Explain to yourself. I think that's important. So how long have you been doing that? Because you said when you first started, you didn't really look at, relative value or, relative strength. You're talking about the best trade. Yeah. When did that process kind of start? About 2 years ago. Okay. So while I was still a part of Astro, we had a gentleman called Raj, and shout out to Raj, and we used to work for Reuters. And I used to hand pick things off of him. And I used to pick on him every day, to the point where he used to hate me, but it made me into who I am. And I've had several other mentors in the macro space since, but I just find it makes more sense. Especially with the project that I'm in now, I've got to be very, very careful with what I do. But at the same time, if I was at a table, would I be purely talking about a fair value gap on a 1 minute time frame because, wow, that looks good? Yeah. Am I actually taking concrete decisions around why I'm putting money behind this? Yeah. Well, all I'm doing is increasing the probability of it playing out in my favor. It's a bit of a peaceful sleep, in my opinion, versus punting, hoping the trade works out, throwing a trade in for the sake of it. Like, I would rather end the month on 0 P&L, a 0 profit, instead of throwing stupid trades on and I'm just costing myself money.
Yeah.
Then you're in drawdown. Your main focus is to get out of that drawdown. Then you end up putting yourself into more drawdown because you're trying to chase the loss that you had. Before you know it, you're 10 or 20% down. And like, fuck, now what?
Yeah.
So yeah, mindset's definitely changed a lot. But I encourage anyone listening to be willing to change. You know, if something doesn't work, don't carry on doing it. Change. Yeah. Change it now, change it quick.
Yeah.
I have a bit, and that's where the whole brand comes from, is if it's not working, change it now, change it quick. Yeah. And I think I'm happy I've had that mindset all my life, because in my trading, if something wasn't working, I would change it now and I'd change it quick, because if it's costing me money, I'm wasting my time. Yeah. And I'm fully aware that, you know, you are only as good as your last trade. It's a trade with a constant journey. It's not something that I've just acquired and I'm a trader now. Yeah. I've got the holy grail. I don't believe in it at all. Market's forever changing. We need to be able to adapt. But more importantly, I need to know that if I still want to be trading in 5-10 years time, my risk's at the forefront of everything that I do. But more importantly, my edge. I am my edge. Yeah. You can have whatever system, but if you can't change it now, change it quick if it's not working, I mean, your strategy works till it doesn't. Yeah. I've seen that over and over again with my own trading. You'll have this magical strategy. Like, I used to trade gold pre-London. I traded for about 6 months. You know, commuting on my way from where I was staying to London to Mayfair to the office at the time, busy during the day. When can I get my trade in? So I had a 5-minute strategy on gold, which worked because I'd be trading that strength, either buying or selling into London volume. And that worked for 6 months till it didn't. Yeah. So my strategy worked till it didn't. Yeah. And I got to change it now, and I got to change it quick. And I haven't traded gold all year, and it's been my best year so far to date. And you know, hopefully, it's not going to be. Yeah. We're just going to keep pushing for gear heights, and that's it, man. Yeah.
What you said as well about finishing on 0 P&L, you'd rather that than throw money away. I think people think the more trades they take, the more money they're going to make. Yeah. But you're just opening yourself up to more risk, right? Unless you've got that perfect setup that you can go in the boardroom over there and actually explain. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. But also to come to say alongside that, you can do everything right but still lose money, right? So just because you find the perfect trade doesn't mean you're going to make money. It doesn't mean every month you're going to be profitable, right? Cool. Everything you just said, I completely agree with. I'm nodding my head. Yeah. What are your personal trading goals now?
Get more money under management. I think that's just more appealing to me. And just carry on. I'm in such a good mental space right now where I'm actually happy with what I'm doing. I'm content with where I am, but I'm also hungry for more. I want to constantly strive for more. I want to get in better shape, because I feel getting in better shape, you know, I've lost a bunch of weight over the past 6 months. And that's just helped my mindset. Yeah. Because I've got to change it now, change it quick, and I've got to do it. I've got to change it now. Yeah. You know, shout out to Trader Tom and Trader Tom Hogart, if you've ever heard of him.
Danish guy, right?
Legend. Yeah. He is responsible for a lot of my mindset, because he has written a book called Best Loser Wins.
Got it over there.
Phenomenal book. Yeah. You know, phenomenal book, and I've watched some of his shows, and you know, if he's watching this, I'll take him out to dinner one day. But phenomenal guy, and he's definitely responsible. Him along with Mark Douglas. You know, you have to be open to the probability of losing. Yeah. And as those that know how to lose are the ones that actually win. Yeah. That people get too emotional and too wound up if they do take a loss or 2 or 3. Yeah. That's the markets. You know, it's not a get rich quick thing. And trading goals for me personally, just carry on with what I'm doing. Load up on crypto now. Now's a perfect time. Not very short. I like prices where prices are on most of the alts. So yeah, carry on doing what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm actually ready for once in my life. I'm not overly stretching what I want to buy. Like, look, I can give the goals of what I want to buy, how much money I want to manage, but I think being happy with it is very important as well. And I think if you can get yourself to a point where you're mentally happy with where you are, you know, it's something money can't buy. Yeah. You know, I've seen people flying in an Aston, but a guy in a Toyota with a family is super happy. Yeah. So it's definitely for me not about that anymore versus what it used to be. Yeah. I feel that, you know, you're just chasing your tail. You're just never happy. No, Bob Marley said it once the best, that if your pursuit is simply for money, money's never ending. So your pursuit for that happiness isn't going to be never ending too.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with where I am. I just want to carry on.
Yeah.
I'm going to grow the mentorship, help as many people as I can, constantly do the meetups. You know, it's always good meeting with someone else that has the same vision, right? And also someone that's going through what you've gone through. You give that person 5 minutes of your time, it's going to help them from not giving up. You know? So yeah, I'm happy where I am. Just got to carry on.
Love it. Touching on Tom as well, Tom Hogard, he's someone I look up to as well. Like I said, I've got the book over there, Best Loser Wins. When you look at his charts, they're super simple. And I feel like, it's like market patterns and simple support and resistance. And I feel like, you know, we'll talk a bit about the retail trading niche and, you know, beginners. I feel like they overcomplicate things and they feel like they need this secret system. You know, obviously SMC, supply and demand, is a big thing nowadays, and, you know, all these new concepts or terms. But all you need is simplicity. As long as you have clarity in your system, you know, clarity is key. It's what breeds confidence, right? So once you have absolute confidence in the system and you can turn up every day, understand not every day is going to be a win, and just consistently execute.
That's it.
I feel like, you know, that's probably the holy grail. You know? There is no magic indicator or anything like that, but once you've got clarity in the system, you know how to manage risk and you can consistently execute. Yeah, that's when I think, you know, success.
Yeah, I encourage anyone to even try this if they want to. You know, don't do the simulation on live funds, but if you took a coin, but heads and tail has a 50-50 probability of each one playing out. If you manage your risk and you flip the coin, you have a higher probability there than most retail trading patterns.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they have this holy grail, it's 90% bulletproof, you know, no losses, no downside. The truth is, even if you closed your eyes and you just did the same method, it has to be boring. You have to manage your risk. And like you said, there's going to be days where you have to lose.
Yeah.
It's part of your strike rate.
Yeah.
And I fully believe out of 10 trades, you don't know which one you're going to lose.
Yeah.
That's why I love trading.
Yeah.
It requires me to be on form every single day. I don't know which is my losing going to be, so I have to treat them all the same.
Yeah.
Take my winners and my winners run, come on, lost short. That's the system.
Absolutely. And even with the penny analogy, right, it's 50-50. That doesn't mean heads can't come 5 times in a row.
Sure.
You know, so the distribution of the trades is going to be random. Even if your win rate is say 40%, that doesn't mean if you take 10 that 4 are going to win and 6 are not going to be winners. So the distribution of those trades are random. That's why, you know, when people have periods of winners, they get overexcited and they think that they're a genius. But they risk too much, start risking more. But you know, you're just a slave to your system, and the distribution of those trades are completely random.
Sure.
So apart from that, what do you think are the biggest things that hold new traders back coming into this space?
Yeah, I think mindset for one. You know, like we've touched up on it, trying to get rich quick. And also I find, and I have found, you know, speaking to thousands of traders, if you come from money, trading will be easier for you. You have a less attachment to money. Versus an individual that is working a minimum wage job, has no savings to their name, but wants to spend £500 on a funding challenge, they're going to fail that challenge either. They're too attached to the outcome of something. So I think that is the biggest key. Like, get your money right. Trading involves money. If you don't have money, you're going to have a hard time. I don't care if it's 5K, 10K, just have something to your name that you don't care if you lose 500 quid.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest issue. And I think overcomplicating into one, like we said, Trader Tom's charts are clean. And the method I trade now, my charts are super clean. I have some annotations on the charts because I do my calls every morning with my mentorship. But at the same time, if you're looking for value where value can be found, and that's with relative value, you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the issue now, as you briefly touched on it when we started, on YouTube, there's so much information. So you might start watching one guy because you like the way he speaks and the way he explains, and you feel that his method's the right method. And you start falling so ingrained into this that you're not able to change your quick one. It stops working.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. And it just purely falls down to money management. We're not, as human beings, we're not ingrained, we're not taught how to lose. Nowadays, they're giving trophies and medals to everyone who participates, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I look at my nephew now, he's got a football tournament tomorrow. You look at it and everyone gets a medal. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. We're taught that you have to win all the time, you have to get something. You're not okay with losing. You know, when I grew up, you lost, you ain't getting shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just purely a mindset thing. So reach out to other people. Everyone has learned from someone. I see so much beef on social media about, this person learned my thing when I started his own, and this person's using my strategy, and everyone learned from someone.
Yeah.
So if you're new to trading, go and speak to someone who's been there and done it, has gone through the shit, learn from them.
Yeah.
The likes of Trader Tom. Go watch Mark Douglas. He's got 4 videos on YouTube for free where he reiterates what is in his book, Trading the Zone.
Yeah.
Phenomenal book. Spend some time in the mindset and realize that for you to be a consistently profitable trader, you have to become a different person. You've got to unwind what you've been led to believe, and you have to become an individual of value, an individual that is disciplined, someone that can turn up every day, not take things emotionally. It's a lot of inner work. I think if you had to just leave the charts, work on yourself, you will be profitable.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And just to come back to one point you said as well about the toxic relationship with money, I think not enough people understand money. Even if they don't want to be a trader, I think understanding money and, what money is, where it comes from,
sure.
Understanding the Federal Reserve and all of those kind of things around money, I think is invaluable for anyone, not just traders, but especially traders, right? And having a better relationship with money, because we spoke about earlier off camera, about if you've got a trade floating in $3,000 profit or $5,000 profit, you start spending the money already, right? And so like if you have a toxic relationship with money, you're more likely to do that. And then the trade starts pulling back and you start panicking.
For sure.
What characteristics do you think people need to be a good trader? Because I don't think anyone can be a trader. I think anyone can learn to be a trader, but they need to be willing to put in that work. But what are the main characteristics that you think somebody would need?
Good question. I think you're definitely right in saying that not everyone should trade. I firmly believe that. Like for individuals that don't have their money right, trading might be a good thing for you to learn, but it's not for you right now.
Yeah.
So having good money management skills is key. And I think financial literacy is so hard and such a topic that's not taught and spoken about, even in schools. And they teach a bunch of bullshit that you'll never use in your life, but they don't teach you what a credit card is and how money actually works.
Yeah.
But I think being strong-minded, I know people that, can't use a card game. Trading is not for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like I have people come to me now that wouldn't give me, the lights and day when I started trading, but now that things are going well for me, everyone wants to trade.
Yeah.
Like, trading is not for you.
Yeah.
So I definitely think someone that has time and that really wants to work on themselves. And I think anyone can learn, like you said, but at the same time, it depends on how good you are at changing.
Yeah.
Change now, change it quick. Most people aren't willing to change. Being strong-minded, have good financial literacy, and I think just patience.
Yeah.
Like I need to be able to tell you that you are not going to make a single penny. You'll probably lose for the next 3 to 4 years. Are you okay with that? I recently had this conversation with someone, and they're like, "No, I need to make money now." I'm like, sorry, my friend, doesn't work like that. Go get a job.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can make money now. You're ready to make it now, you'll get it at the end of the month. That's it. Patience for sure.
Okay.
Patience for sure.
Okay. And for people watching this who maybe they want to start learning how to trade, they haven't started yet. In fact, the way I'll frame this question is, if you were starting today, so if you lost everything, you woke up today, and you just found out about trading, where you have the knowledge you have, how would you go about it?
Yeah, for sure. So I think speak to other people that have done what you wanted to do. That was an underrated statement that someone once told me that I didn't really believe. If you're hanging around 5 millionaires, you're going to be sick. Put yourself in a room where someone else has what you want, someone else is doing what you want to do. Be able to rub shoulders with someone, that's the first thing. And, like you said, we live in a generation right now where there's so much for free online. Use it. Baby Pips, phenomenal website. They've done amazing. They've been around ever since I started.
Yeah.
Free information online. And also, go and look at why things move. You're trading currencies, not drawing on a chart.
Yeah.
Go and look at why things are moving. If you understand stocks, you understand you've got a research company, go look at earning, go look at whether they're hiring or firing, is the company growing, contracting, trading FX. You want to trade the pound, we got 4-year inflation. Inflation dropped this past week, but it's still at 8%. Right, it's phenomenal. Wage adjusted inflation, people can't afford this.
Yeah.
The Bank of England have some trouble on their hands. We've got, I think there's 1.6 million mortgages in the UK. got a variable rate set for renewal at a higher rate, where majority of those people don't have the disposable income to cover the new mortgage because it's too high. What's going to happen? You're sitting on a house that you can no longer afford, but you can't sell that house because no one's buying. Interest rates are too high.
Yeah.
Bubble. You know, so these things, understanding why things move, like the Bank of England are going to get to a point where they have to pause imminently. It's going to ruin the pound. I'll just sell pound yen. Pound yen as investor reward amongst the them.
Yeah.
Right? Cable's down at the lows, 124. I was looking at it today. Pound Aussie, leave alone, I don't like it. But go look at why things move.
Yeah.
Spend 6 months. Honestly, you don't need a very big, broad macro understanding to be willing to Google. We're living in an era of ChatGPT, or speaking of camera. Ask ChatGPT why the pound moves.
Yeah.
Ask them why the Bank of England. Google.
Yeah.
You know, people ask me questions that they could have Googled.
Yeah.
And I just think you're lazy.
Yeah.
And that's another characteristic. You can't be lazy. You got to be willing to put the work in and go and find out. We live in a world with so much information. I think it's the easiest time to start now, right? Information's free, it's cheap, online, versus, you know, if I look back in my journey, I paid $2,500 for a 3-day course that, in my opinion, got me to where I am, in the sense that it was a foundation, right? It's a network of people and so forth, but it is not something that in today's generation I would pay $2,500 for.
Yeah.
No one would.
Yeah.
And I think the industry has vastly changed. So go ahead and look at someone that's doing what you want to do. Do like pay the fee that you got to pay, because no one's going to do nothing for free. Speak to someone, right? That's what you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Give it a try. I think so many people are lazy in this generation that they're not willing to be proactive. They want the handout. They want signals. They want the quick and the easy road.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Andrew Tate. He mentioned once in a video that, you know, why should it be quick and fast to get a six-pack? Why should it be quick and easy? We're always taught to get things quick. It's easy to get anyone. And that's the society we live in. You want deliveries and you do it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazon, next day delivery.
Yeah.
And we're so accustomed to that now that if you have to tell someone, come and learn from me, I'll show you the ropes, but you're not going to make any money for the next 2 years. Then they say, what? Just want some signals, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, learn first.
I completely agree. There's a couple of things you said that I want to touch on. One is understanding what's happening. I think sometimes people are too one-dimensional, especially when trading currencies. They forget if they're long pound yen, they're long pound and short yen, right?
It's true.
So naturally you want to be long the strongest and short the weakest, right? So I completely agree with that. And I think, you know, people who trade one pair, there's no right or wrong way to trade, but people who just trade one pair, I think sometimes limit themselves to those opportunities in the market. You know, if they actually did a little bit more due diligence, to actually understand, you know, I'm longing to euro, I'm short the dollar, for example. Is there maybe something that's weaker than the dollar that this trade might move a bit quicker? You know, I get to my TP quicker. Okay, cool. That's good. So backtesting and journaling, we see a lot of new traders coming in. We tell them, you know, you need to backtest, you need to journal all of your trades. Yeah. All right. I'll do that. Let me just trade on mine. Yeah. I'll just do my funding challenge and I'll do that stuff later. What importance do you put on backtesting and so journaling your current trades that, you know, you're forward testing?
Of course, I'll split those two up. I fully believe in journaling, but I hate backtesting.
Okay.
I know I'm contrarian now in saying that, but backtesting, in my opinion, you know, really fools the mind. So as traders, we're trying to train the mind and really train what we're able to see in live market conditions. Backtesting purely shows you price action, where it doesn't show you anything about what was happening at the time fundamentally with those pairs. And I feel, you know, you can see 2 months worth of price action in 5 minutes, fools your patience.
Okay.
And that's purely based off of my own experience, because when I was trading, I was also led to believe backtest, it'll do good for you. For me, it done the complete opposite. I was impatient. I wasn't, at the time, before I even started backtesting, I could swing trade like a motherfucker. But I would have traded for weeks. After I started backtesting, I was looking at trades in a 4-hour, entering on a 4-hour, but I'd be constantly looking at my phone. Because, you know, when you're backtesting, although you're telling yourself, you know, this is 2 weeks, you're not as patient on a live market. So I believe in forward testing. I believe no matter whether you have money or not to trade, you should analyze the market. Even if you have no financial skin in the game, mark up your risk reward, make notes, and even journal what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Refer back to that journal. a very big mistake I made when I was journaling when I started was I would journal, but I'd never look at that journal ever again.
Yeah.
Like I've asked people, give me a journal. No one can give me a journal.
Yeah.
No one. So, are you too lazy to journal and you just want the quick road of, fuck it, I'll just put a trade on and you'll be all right. But you're taking a shortcut, trying to have a short-term fix a long-term problem. Well, fully believe in journaling, even journaling yourself. I recommend to anyone listening to do a 1-minute video every week of themselves, of how they reacted throughout this trading week. Because then to reflect on your month, you have 4 minutes to look at how you reacted in the month. You then subconsciously watch yourself over and you're like, fucking idiot. I told you should have closed that trade, but you moved your stops. Yeah. So consciously, when you're faced to the same situation again in the future, you're going to remind yourself, oh, hang on, I don't want to make that video again. Maybe I should just, manage my trade how I'm supposed to. Yeah. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. So I think video journaling with yourself, better than making notes, better than writing, better than screenshotting befores and afters, because you're telling yourself, I took 3 trades this week. This is where I fucked up. This is where I made money. I could have managed this differently. The next time I'm faced with this situation, I will do this differently. Yeah. When you watch that over, it subconsciously just triggers something in your brain to say that I don't want to be making the same mistake again. Mm-hmm. Just don't do it. Yeah. Change now, change it fast. Yeah. And if something changes, I need to be able to react.
That makes sense.
Whereas if you're back testing, I feel it makes you lazy. I feel it makes you complacent. And I just feel messes with traders' patience. Okay. And I've seen this in thousands of traders. Genuinely, no one ever journals, but everyone wants to back test. Well, I feel it's the other way around.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So you obviously mentored thousands of traders, spoke to thousands of traders. What are the things you see that separate the best that you've seen and, the people who are just not going to make it?
So money management for starters. Mm-hmm. I've seen people that work a full-time job, but make enough in their trading for them to even quit that job, but they keep them too. They keep them because this isn't for money. This is becoming a trader is literally taking your trades from A to B, and that's your job, right? That's your job. And I think traders that really do struggle are the ones that, go all in and think that, the minute I get funded, my life's going to be perfect. Everything is going to be great. Yeah. And I've seen a new culture arise on Twitter of funded traders that take so much pride in posting a certificate that they're probably going to lose next week. Yeah. And it's become that culture of, right, let me get funded. Let me get 600K funded. Bro, it's demo. It's not your fund. You're getting too carried away. I feel it's purely a business model that if you are good enough as a trader and you have an edge that has very little downside and you can milk the upside, rinse funding companies for what they're worth. Mm-hmm. But if you're still learning and if it's something that and that's the issue with the current culture and current generation of traders, because it's completely changed. Yeah. When I started trading, I was using Hugo's way, funding BTC from my YRX. I'd get back into my YRX card, I'd spend some profits, I was happy.
We were talking about it off camera.
Yeah. Now, everyone wants to chuck 500 quid to a funded challenge, and it's just the whole get rich quick mindset. Mm-hmm. Let me quickly get a funded account, I'll get a payout, I'll make all my money back. Yeah. Even though I've lost 4,000 in challenges, I'll make my money back, I'll make it back. And, that's the gambler mindset, because just one more. Yeah. Just one more, I'll make it all back. There's one more. And before you know, you just put yourself in a predicament. We've lost so much money going down this road that you give up. Yeah. Now you're sitting with less money, probably in debt, and your trading hasn't worked out for you because you've chased this image and you've put it on a pedestal. Yeah. You can't get it. Yeah. So yeah, patience for sure. And traders that do well, people that have money management, and also people that are in it for the long game. Yeah. So those are the 3 characteristics for sure.
Good advice. I think one of the funding things as well, I think people are more, they're chasing the title of being funded more than the goal of why they started trading in the first place. For freedom to make more money, they actually just want to say that they're a funded trader, which is...
And you technically funded yourself and deposit into brokerage.
Yeah,
funded myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the funded trader.
Yeah. But like you said, they want to post the certificates and, they kind of put these funding companies on a pedestal. And like we said earlier, even when you are consistent in your trading, it's not done, right? You still need to...
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey, and you're always going to war with the market. But I feel like a lot of beginner traders or traders that haven't been funded before, they think, when I get funded,
that's it.
I'm done.
Life's so
I'm by the beach, you know. But it's not like that. Like you say, a lot of people are going to get the funded account and lose it. And if you're chasing the funded account and the title of being funded on that funded account, you're going to lose, right? You need to be process driven. Like the successful traders are the ones who don't care about that. They're just focused on the process.
That's it.
So that's really good advice. Let's talk about macro a bit. I know, you know, before we had this conversation, you're very macro driven. You understand the dollar very well and how that affects markets.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts right now? Because last year markets bled. We saw, you know, risk off pretty much all throughout the year. Dollar had a crazy rally until September.
Yeah.
Where do you kind of see things playing out for the rest of the year? Maybe going into next year as well?
Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, there was inflation, like a transitory inflation scenario where every single central bank's people was data-driven, data-dependent, as they are now. And everyone expected inflation to slow down and fall off quick. And I feel, you know, and these are the situations I even reflect on in my life where if you want something now, it's never when you want it. And I feel the scenario that central bank speakers and leaders wanted a year ago is happening now, where I feel the transitory inflation environment is now happening because inflation's falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
Especially in the States. We're at 5% now?
Yeah.
We're at 9.5% just a few months ago. So rapidly falling inflation's halved in the past 6 months. So I feel the Fed are going to have to put their foot on the brakes at some point within the next 2 months. And there's about a 48% chance of them hiking now in June. But after that, I don't see them going much further. They'd be at 5%. You know, you've got mortgage rates through the roof. 30-year mortgage in America is already above 7%. People can't afford this. That's something that housing crises are made of. People want to sell their houses, they can't sell it. No one's buying. Rates too high. People are being strangled with rates because they have so much credit card debt. And that's the issue, even here in the UK.
Yeah.
The biggest issue I have now, and I feel it's propped up markets, is this whole buy now, pay later service. Klarna, right? Blowing up such a clever business model.
Yeah.
Because people want things so quick. You want to buy trains? Klarna's available.
You can even get it on Deliveroo now, I think.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all Klarna.
No way.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. People want something they want it now. They're willing to pay an extra 15 quid for it.
Yeah.
But even if they pay it over 3 months, but you're becoming a slave.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you racked up all this debt because credit was cheap at one point. You could get credit cards, you could get loans at low interest rates, right? Now rates are approaching 5%. You know, all of a sudden everyone's disposable income's a lot less because the credit card bills are higher, phone bills higher, car bills higher, everything's higher, rent, electricity, water, everything, cost of living. And that's really, in my opinion, going to lead us into a crisis globally. You know, the whole China reopening scenario now, we've had a bottleneck, in my opinion, in the Chinese economy because they forecast a 5% growth for this year. They're already at 6.5. So you had this massive growth, and that's been witnessed in any economy. The minute you open up so much demand, but you can't keep that rate of change going. So I definitely think there's a slowdown coming for the whole world. Even if the Fed pauses right now, we may have a bit of a relief rally in markets, but it doesn't fix the situation. The same thing happened in 2008. You know, what's going to happen? They're just going to print more money.
Yeah.
They're just going to print more money. I don't know if you've heard about Fed Now. Fed Now is a possible, it's being tested right now for a dollar CBDC, digital dollar.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is where I grab a real silver hat and become a conspiracy theorist because CBDCs will lead people into getting like a universal basic income.
Yeah.
To help them fight through this bad period that we're all about to face. The whole world's going to face it. And yet that will just be supplemented. Instead of people getting stimulus checks to your bank, because you can save that money, you can put into crypto, you can put into stocks. You're going to be supplemented through universal basic pay that you'll get with a time limit on, and you have to spend it at certain stores. That's how they can control people.
Yeah.
So I think there is definitely room within the next 6 months for Fed to pause, Bank of England to pause, ECB to pause. So from a day trading point of view, I'm personally looking forward to selling around in euro, Aussie, euro, yen. The Bank of England pause because they're going to have to. Pound yen back at 140. That's 3,000 pips from where we are now. And I'll put that statement out there because in December I was short from 168.50.
Yeah.
We saw 167. It's 1,500 pips. I didn't hold the whole way. It's not my job to hold the whole way.
Yeah.
My job is to look for value. And I think when shit hits the fan, because it's going to, we're going to see a pivot from the Bank of Japan, which will start to strengthen some yen.
Yeah.
Yen is naturally a safe haven currency. So that will come into light. So you've got a weak pound, a weak euro, you've got that strong yen, because the yen is going to come back.
Yeah.
It's going to come back quick and hard. So yeah, the next 6 months, it is just playing off of the back of a possible pause. I'm not expecting them to cut rates anytime soon, because I understand they're far from getting inflation to targeted rates 2%, right? We might get it there sharply. They might pause. Then they might have another spike of inflation because everyone thinks, you know what, they're going to start cutting rates soon. Let's borrow some money. I think money's going to be cheap. So I think for risk asset markets, especially crypto, I'm a big crypto advocate.
Yeah.
Buying the dip, I do think we're going to suffer some sort of drawdown for the next 6 months. We had blockchain CEO reiterate the same thing, that global macro outlook isn't great, but crypto's our alternative.
Yeah.
When we had SVB and First Republic go under, gold and BTC rallied.
Yeah.
Whereas for the first half of the year, BTC was trading as a risk asset. Back in the last year with the whole FTX scandal, won't even get into that. Got PTSD from that.
We're talking about a camera, let's all talk about it.
But yeah, the whole scenario of it trading as a risk asset, sometimes as a safe haven, it changes between those two. And I do feel crypto is going to be that alternative.
Yeah.
Along with gold, along with silver. I know we spoke about that off camera too. But people are going to look for that alternative. People are going to realize that if CBDCs come into power, you don't want to have all your money in a bank account because you can't trust it.
Yeah.
You'd rather have, some money, not all your money, but some money off chain on a like a cold storage wallet. That's your keys, like not your keys, not your crypto.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there is room for the next 6 months for a Fed pause, which obviously the central banks pause. You are going to possibly see another lift in inflation, which is going to cause them to keep rates higher for longer. I am of that belief. I'm higher for longer camp, which will elevate dollar. In my opinion, we'll probably see 107, 108 before dollar peaks.
Yeah.
And then I am of the belief that risks in the rally. I am of the belief risk will rally, and I'd like to be, long on crypto.
Going into year end. Okay.
So in my opinion, this is not financial advice, of course, but there is, in my opinion, the next 7 months, loads of opportunity to dollar cost average your way into crypto, into some of the alts, to then position yourself for some upside.
Okay.
I'm not guaranteeing or I'm not promising there's going to be 5, 10x, but there is room for upside.
Yeah.
And I think you're sleeping if you're not taking advantage of it. Even in trading FX, I preach this to the traders in my mentorship. If you can go ahead and park some money in certain crypto asset classes, 5x your money in the next year, you then have your own funded account. You're your own funded trader because you can fund yourself.
Yeah.
But are you going to be responsible with that money? And, that refers back to some of the downsides that I had. I didn't really touch on everything. Whereas when I came into money across my trading journey, I made it too quick. I didn't come from a background of money. I didn't know how to handle money.
Yeah.
So when I saw my first 6 figures in crypto, I went crazy. I remember having my biggest withdrawal from IC markets land in my PayPal was like 58 grand, biggest at the time, 2020. That's all like, all right, fucking I made it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking recklessly and so forth. But yeah, definitely for the next 6 months, like downside opportunities, relatively small. But then into next year, loads of upside in crypto.
Okay, so you think DCA going into year end, again, not financial advice for anyone listening, but then next year going into the halving, you think that's where
there will, in my opinion, there will be upside.
Okay, and again, not financial advice, but when do you think we'll top? When do you think the cycle kind of peak will be?
June 2025.
June 2025.
I think we'll see EMI and BTC. I think 100K BTC possible. It's about 4x where it is.
Yeah.
4x, no pun intended, but so 4x where it is. Ethereum 10K. Yeah. XRP, should this SEC case go away, XRP's marginally done my head in the past few years.
Yeah.
I'm a big holder and big believer in XRP. I hold a nice bag. I do think we'll see $5 XRP on the next run should the SEC case go away. But my issue with the SEC, you got Gary Gensler, who works for the SEC, who can't even describe why Ethereum is not a security.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what's going on himself.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much room for this space still to grow. I feel the space is still very small. The total market cap to just be about, I think, a 1.1 trillion. I mean, Apple's bigger than the whole crypto market. So there's definitely room for crypto.
Yeah.
I think crypto will be that alternative once we go into a recession, once things do slow down, once people know, and if there's further banking contagion, we'll see that right now.
Yeah. So in the last bull run, we saw layer ones, we saw NFTs, we saw metaverse do really well. What narratives do you think will drive the next bull run in 2024 and 2025?
I think people are going to go for safety. You know, I had exposure in FTX, which wasn't nice. I know a lot of people that had exposure to Luna, which wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to hand pick what they want. I really do have a big belief in, I have full conviction in that people might just choose BTC.
Yeah.
People might just choose your major alts. I see a lot of people flocking to XRP recently on Twitter. Twitter's got a big fan base on XRP. But everyone's hoping that should this SEC case unwind, that they're in for that quick bag. Everyone's in it for the quick bag. So I think safety is priority. Definitely not having money on an exchange.
Yeah.
You know, there's some fears around Binance right now. I don't know if you've heard, there was about 300 insider trading accounts linked at Binance under CZ's name, which falsified volume. Like the price of BTC and Binance would be slightly more because they unbidden up themselves. So people are definitely going to look for safety, and that's if people that lost money previously are actually going to come back. So I think, I don't know if you've ever heard, I actually forgot his name, but Blockchain CEO, Blockchain.com CEO, announced that I think they have like 80 million users, and their focus is literally to onboard people to crypto. Give people a banking solution in countries that, believe it or not, there's still millions of people out there that don't have access to internet, water, let alone a bank account. You know, so their focus is, I know Cardano is a big believer in that too. I'm too bullish on Cardano, not financial advice. But looking at it really, I think the alternative will literally be, is my money safe? We don't know if it's safe anywhere.
Yeah.
But definitely just focus on your majors. That's what I'm thinking of going into this next one.
Yeah. Are you part of the flipping in camp? The ETH will flip BTC?
No.
No? I think BTC is king?
Yeah, BTC is king.
Okay. XRP?
XRP or... No, I'm not on that camp. I'm more realistic.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I've been surrounded by people that say 10K XRP, but I might regret saying this on camera one day, but I don't see market value, and I don't see anyone with power allowing something like XRP with the amount of tokens out in circulation to be valued at $10,000.
Yeah.
Every person with a small XRP bag is going to be rich.
Yeah.
And somehow I think with crypto, people need to be realistic and know that, or I'm going to get in, I'm going to 4x, 5x my money, I'm out. Like, you got to think of your X before you even get in.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a statistic that says 90% of people get into crypto, they don't get out.
Yeah.
No one pulls money out. So don't think that you're going to buy this token, you're going to manage to become a millionaire, life's going to be great. I treat it like trading. Like I have my A point, I have my B point. I know when I'm getting out. I already know what I want to position that money into. It's not going to buy me a car. It's not going to do anything. That money then will reposition to other assets to generate me passive income. And you know, another issue that I too I'll quickly refer back to is, if you make money in crypto and you're a trader, your first instinct is to take the money and go trade it so I can make 4 or 5 grand a month and everything's going to be great. But if you lose that, you have nothing.
Mm.
But if you are that individual that is patient and is disciplined, you really can change your life with it.
Yeah.
I'm really fully convicted in that.
Yeah.
But if it's a get rich quick thing for you, then it's not going to work.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice. And we were talking off camera about how, you know, you have a plan going into the bull run and when you buy assets in crypto, and you get caught in the hype and you deviate from that plan.
Yeah.
And it's always when things are most bullish that we top, right?
Sure.
Like we said, I can't put this off camera or on camera now, but BTC's top was in 2017 was the CME futures or GIM. And April 21 was the Coinbase IPO. Yeah. And then later 2021 was the ETF launch. So always when you think you have the most reason to hold a sell, to stay bullish, is probably when you should tell. Right?
I think you've got to sell when you're happy.
Yeah.
Like, I have numbers in my head of what I made previously, what I have invested now. if I can, at the very max, 10x my ADA bag, I'm fine. It's at 37 cents now, 36 cents for a quarter check. If it is $3, $3.50, see you there.
We'll still tell me about $3 going. Yeah.
If it just gets from where it is to that, for 10x, I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
And I've made more than enough. I'm not going to be greedy and 1.5, 1.10, it might hit 10. Right, that was my issue with Solana. I got told from a friend, buy Solana at $3. I didn't buy it. I was fully convicted and fully believing the old XRP hype at the time. But then I got too invested into the hype, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
Got to treat it like a business, treat it like trading, take it from A to B, that's it.
Yeah.
Make your money, get out.
Yeah. I think also it's not about which asset is the best. I said this on another pod as well. It's not about which asset is the best, it's about what people think will be the best. Because I think that in a bull run holds true. If you can just have that mentality through a bull run, you will make, and shift your money around and play the rotation game, you will make so much money. And just understanding what is the narrative, where is the liquidity flowing?
For sure.
If you understand that. Some people made a killing switching from Solana to AVAX to Luna and catching every run because they just understood people think this is the best, or people will think.
But getting out's key. Like plug in.
Yeah.
You got to fill out and just know that it is a business.
Yeah.
For every buyer, there's a seller.
Yeah.
So if you're not the guy selling, you're going to get sold on.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Absolutely. Let's talk a bit about psychology in markets, relevant to what we're speaking about. What tips would you have? Everybody talks about trading psychology, and a lot of beginners probably watch this and say, I need to work with my psychology. And what do you mean? No one really knows. So what tips would you give for people? What areas would you focus on?
Yeah, so the biggest tip is knowing that out of 10 trades, you're not going to know which one's going to lose. I'm a big believer in that because you're going to treat each of them the same. Right? So sample 10 positions, trade of the same size. Believe it or not, that's more of a technical rule or a mechanical rule. By you trading the same lot size ensures that discipline because you're going to realize what a 30 pip stop costs you. You're going to realize it's not going to bother you that much, and learning how to lose is such a big key part. So psychology, learn to lose, right? Understand that this position can stop me out. Am I okay with that?
Yeah.
It's such a big part of it. And also making yourself aware that I'm fully well aware, we're still young, that if I have this dream, this vision of an ocean view villa, I will get that, but I need to realize that I need to move it out of my day-to-day psychology because I'm going to get carried away.
Yeah.
I'm going to risk too much because I want that. So I got to, for a second, detach yourself of where you want to be and focus where you are right now, what you have to do right now, what you need to do right now to get you a little bit closer every single day.
Yeah.
And trading, unfortunately, it does require utmost discipline. You have to manage your risk, trade the same size, and some people are just not disciplined enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have the end goal, but kind of like reverse engineer from there, right?
Get it on his head. I'll have it, it's fine, but I don't want to be that person that will, buy the land, build the villa, and then lose all my money because I wasn't disciplined or something happened.
Yeah.
Yes, that can happen. I'm not saying it will never will, but I need to know that if I ever get myself to that position, I need to be that individual that is fully disciplined, fully, convicted in the way that I trade for me to even have those goals.
Yeah.
So flip it on its head, focus on the discipline, be fully convicted in your strategy that you trade the exact same size every single day, at least for 3 months.
Yeah.
If you want to up your size, do it every 3 months.
Yeah.
So you're okay with seeing drawdown. You're okay emotionally to then go on and make a rational decision thereafter and not get too attached to what you're seeing right now. It's a very, very big skill set, and it's something a lot of people struggle.
Yeah.
Also, just trade what you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
If you've got your last 500 quid, there's no point flipping it on gold, trying to, or buying a funding challenge thinking that it's going to go great because I promise you it's not.
Yeah.
So a psychological hack is get your money right.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have to get a job. Right? People always think that, fuck the 9 to 5. Right, get a job. If it's going to help you in your trading, go and get a job.
Yeah.
Right? Sitting there staring at your screen is not going to make GPUSD go down, So sack it off, get a job, get your mind right. And once you know that, and I've started a 90-day challenge, I've done this last year, where I don't run every day. I try and run 200 kilometers in 90 days. So I've done like 220 last year. Lost like 10 kilos, I felt great. Right now, I plateaued a little bit. I want to go again. And what that done for me was that as shares I feel, as much as my shin splints hurt, as much as my legs and my knees hurt, fuck it, I have to do a 5K. Why? It's a principle of discipline, because no matter how it feels, I have to get it done. I'm thinking about, more importantly, about how I'm going to feel afterwards, or how I feel now. And it's a feeling of like knowing that you're true to yourself, knowing that you've set out to do something, that you're actually going to follow through. Be that through your job, be that through running, whatever that is for you. I feel that builds such a strong mindset in trading, because you're telling yourself you're not going to up your risk. You're telling yourself you're not going to put on a bunch of stupid trades. You're telling yourself you're going to stick to your plan, but you know, fully convicted subconsciously, that you followed your plan, even to go for a run. And you know that you can follow through and do day-to-day mundane tasks in trading. Trading shouldn't be boring.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Don't break promises to yourself. Right?
That's it.
If you break promises to yourself in your personal life,
It's just going to get sticky.
yeah, and you're going to fail trading, right? If you tell yourself you're going to go for a run, you don't go for a run, and you tell yourself you're going to follow your trading plan, you're probably
not gonna do it.
Yeah, so don't break promises. But if you've read a book called Atomic Habits,
I have.
very good
Brilliant.
book. Yeah, and similar to what you're saying about having the end goal, but actually attaching the habits and understanding the process that's going to get you there. If you have a goal to do X, Y, Z, but you don't know how you're going to get there, but you just think about the end goal every day, you're not going to get there, right? You need to be focused on the process and the habits that are actually going to get you there.
For sure.
So in trading, that's what you spoke about, consistency and things like that.
Something I'd add on that is I've asked this question to thousands of traders. If you were trading with $1 million right now, would you trade the same? The answer is always no. I would trade more disciplined. I would only trade once a week. I would stop once I've had enough, once my target's hit. Like, why aren't you doing that now? Do it now. Trade like that now. Like, my vision in my lifestyle, I'm working towards, is going to require utmost discipline. But I'm trading how I'm going to want to trade then. My vision for the future is to, raise my kids. And I've always had this idea in my head of my son playing football and I have 50 lots running on pound yen. That'll be life complete, all goals ticked, because growing up, my father never watched one of my football games. So I now know that that's one of my goals, but I know for me to I'm fully convicted in this, if I'm going to get to that goal, it's going to require discipline, and I've got to do it now. So you've got to change it now and change it quick, but do it now. And that's something a lot of people say. If they were trading with $1 million, they trade differently. Do it now. Start now.
Why wait?
Be that individual, that disciplined individual now. Because you're only going to be better then if you've done it for a year. If you've been disciplined for a year. I'd rather you make less but still make something versus risk it all and have bad habits, because things do spiral out of control. It's the game we're in.
100%. Talk to us a bit about the crypto hedge fund that you're trading for. You touched on it earlier, but for the people watching, you just explain that a bit.
Yes, so it is a crypto-based hedge fund where we on-ramp people via NFTs, so it's purely on the blockchain. People can see how much money has been transacted and so forth. It is a method, you want to call it crowdfunding or so forth, very similar niche, but that is just used to raise a bunch of funds. We have over 2 million right now that's being traded off-chain, right? Off-chain, and then profits are then ramped back on the chain and airdropped to people via stablecoins, so USDC, USDT. I like it. I think it's a great model, and gives the average person with $1,000 or $2,000 the opportunity to be involved in the project. Because if you approach some of these big boys, you need $500,000 minimum. And that's money that the average person doesn't have. So we're definitely bridging the divide. That is one of the slogans of the brand, bridging the divide between the average retail investor and giving them access to real world financial markets with risk being managed correctly, with instruments being traded accordingly. And then, there's a token attached to it too, which currently trades 2 cents. And the whole tokenomics is purely to raise funds in the crypto market and onboard that to the NFT for that then to be traded off chain to generate then a passive income for themselves in monthly yield. So, great little project, and I'm super proud to be a part of the project. And I'm looking forward to carry on growing with the brand and providing that value to people that can't have it themselves.
And the instruments you're trading, is it just crypto or are you trading FX?
So it's not not trading crypto yet. We're launching a crypto index that should be launched Q3, Q4, which will be an index in-house. And we're going to be, if someone wants to invest $1,000 into the index, that will then be through NFT again.
Yep.
But they're having 1% exposure on, let's just, so to speak, 100 grand index. They have 1% exposure.
Yep.
If it goes up by 10%, their $1,000 has gone up by 10%.
Yep.
So that's coming towards the end of the year. But right now, it's rinse traditional financial markets, what I do on a daily basis, equities, commodities, FX. But there again, the same principle, look for value where value can be found. And if you had to explain this trade to someone, would you have taken it?
Yeah.
So
that's the principle behind it.
That's the principle behind pretty much everything I do right now.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. Talk to me a bit about the mentorship again. You mentioned it earlier, but for people watching this who are maybe interested in, joining those calls that you do in the morning, if you could just explain a bit about that.
Yeah, so it's always been a dream of mine to trade live. I've always, previously back at Astro, I would do trading floor sessions in person, and I loved that. It was an environment where I fully, and I make everyone aware that we're all traders. I can be wrong on this trading day too. So don't sit there and take every word as gospel and throw money behind everything I say, because I'm going to get trades wrong too.
Yeah.
So it's a room, virtually obviously, that is purely just traders speaking about what's going on. I share my view every day. I share the macro theme, and also trades I'm looking at, trades that I'm in. And, it gives me a sense of pride seeing everyone grow and everyone learn from it as well, but a sense of accountability too. And I do feel, and I've said this many times, if they're watching right now, they know that I help them, but indirectly those calls mean so much to me and so much for my growth, because I know what it's like trying to trade full time in your bedroom by yourself. You're going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's boring. You can only go eat out as much because you're going to get tired of it. You can't sit in the sun because you can't see what's going on. You can't go over it because there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right? The whole trade and travel thing isn't what we think. And so I definitely think every trader should get a mentor. I'm not saying they should come to me. But go and find someone that has what you want and someone that will just help you get there.
Yeah.
Someone that's patient enough to get you there. Because not everyone's cut out to be a mentor.
Yeah.
Some people have killed it in the game, but don't have time and don't have the patience. And I think that's just who I am. I've always enjoyed helping others, and I give people the time of day when they need it.
Yeah.
Trading is that hard psychological road. It is extremely hard if you don't have anyone to just tell you it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Tell you what you go through is normal.
Yeah.
And I take so much pride in that.
Yeah, that's good. And like I said earlier, being able to teach, being a good trader and being able to teach that system are two completely different things. Right? Just for someone who's a good trader doesn't mean they're the right person to mentor you.
Right.
It's a completely different skill set, being able to actually, relay that information in a way that, somebody can digest it. So that's good. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so social media, Marco Ribeiro on IG, Twitter, Mr. Marco Ribeiro, and then my YouTube channel, Marco Ribeiro as well. Say his name.
Yeah, I'll link it in the description anyway. Last question before we wrap up.
Yeah.
We've been going, hour and a half, probably something like that. If you weren't a trader, what would you do?
Good question. I've always been that individual that will do anything to win. So I think definitely business. I'm not sure what niche. I've started this brand. It's not to make money. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
But I've always been that individual that is willing to start something, do anything. Do what I have to do in order to win.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do anything in order to win. So I think that's a good trait that I have. But I think definitely business. I enjoy it. I enjoy speaking to people. I don't know what business. I think trading has, ever since I was 18, it's always been trading. I think I've been brainwashed to believe that and to follow that path. I haven't really thought about anything else.
Yeah.
So I've had that tunnel vision on trading is for me. Trading is what I want to do. I'm going to follow it. So yeah, that's it.
Interesting. All right, bro. Well, it's been a great conversation.
Likewise.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you again soon.
Likewise. Sure.